Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. It's Liz Ellery here, Squarespace website designer and branding designer. I'm creating this video for you today because I know all about slow websites from so many of my clients that I've worked with, and I think a lot of people don't know that the reason why your website is going really slowly and it's hard to open pages is because you might have a lot of images on there that are really, really big. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to reduce your image size with 4 different steps or 4 different techniques of doing it. Whether you've got Mac, PC, if you want to use something called Lightroom, if you want to use something called tinyjpeg.com. Anyway, there's lots of options here. And the reason why you want to do this is because Google really likes it when a website's really quick, and your customers really like it when a website loads a lot quicker. So when you are getting images maybe from your photographer that they've done a photo shoot of you and you're uploading them, there might be print ready sizes and you need to reduce the resolution of them. You might be downloading images from stock websites and they can be really big, large images. So let's dive into the training now, and I'm going to show you exactly how to make your images much smaller. Let's go. Okay, let's get started with my first technique of how to resize your images. So I'm going to do this. This is for Mac users. What I'm going to do is I've got my folder here of imagery that I want to resize. So what I'm actually going to do for this next step is I'm going to copy and paste the top line of images and put them in a folder in here, because if we resize the images, they will resize them directly rather than creating a copy. And if you want to keep this higher res image because you want to print it or you want to do something like that, then my recommendation is to copy and paste them. So I'm just going to select the images that I want to use there. You can press Command C on your keyboard to copy them, and then you open up the folder you want them to go into and press Command V. But I'm just going to right click and I'm going to go to copy, and then I'm going to open up the resized images and I'm going to click paste 7 images. So there they are there. So I'm just going to reduce the initial file there. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open, I'm going to select them like that, and then I'm going to right click and I'm going to open with preview. So you'll see that all these images are open here and you can see them on the left hand side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select, and you can do this individually if you only have one image, but I just want to do multiple at the same time. So I've got the top one selected, and then I'm going to hit Shift on my keypad and then click the bottom one, and that will highlight all of the images. Then I'm going to go into Tools and I'm going to go to Adjust Size. And if you look in, I'll put a link below in the video if you're watching this on YouTube. If you're in the blog, you can just look at the image size guide that I have for what sort of image size you want this to be. If it's going to be half the page of a website image, you'll want this to be 1500 pixels wide. If you want it to be for the full width banners and you just want bigger images, so that's what I'm going to do. Generally, I always use the bigger size and then I'll reduce it later. So we want 2500 pixels wide. You don't need to worry about the height, it's always the width that we're going to use. And then we want this to be 72 pixels per inch, which means that it will go to the resolution that websites need. Okay, so you will see that it was 63.9 megabytes for all 7 images, but we're now reducing it to 9.5. So if we just click OK there, it's now reduced them all. So we can just, still working. Okay, so I'm just going to show you something here. So these were the originals. So if we right click this one and we go to get info, we'll see that the dimensions were 5184 and the resolution, I can't spot it off the top of my head there, but what we're looking for, it says 9.5 is how big that file was. And now if we look in our new window at the same image, if we go to get info, we'll see that that's 2.5 megabytes, and it's now 2,500 pixels wide. But as we know from the blog post, and what I'm telling you now if you're on YouTube, is that if we're putting this image into Squarespace, all the imagery needs to be under 500 kilobytes, which is, you know, this is 2.5, so that 5 is actually 500 kilobytes there. So we want to make these a bit smaller. So that's the first method of making things smaller. The next step I'm going to show you is using tinyjpeg.com. So what I want you to do is go into here and click there, and then I'm going to go to my desktop, and I'm actually going to click on the resized images. So say if you've already done this technique, if you have a Mac and the images aren't massive, then what you're going to do is you're going to upload the smaller ones. So don't upload the bigger ones. Try and reduce them first in dimension. And then what you can do is you can upload them all in one go into this website. And what you'll see is on the left hand side, it's 2.5 megabytes. And then on the right hand side, it's reducing it down to 259 kilobytes. So this is like absolutely perfect. And we're going to go into download all. I'm going to click on my downloads. I'm going to open that. And it goes into this zipped file. So I'm unzipping it. And now this same image here, get info, we'll see that it's 2,500 pixels wide, but it's now 259 kilobytes. So that's awesome. So we're very happy with that. And as you'll see, the quality has retained. So again, I'm very happy with that. Now I'm going to show you the next one that you can do. So if you don't have a Mac and you want to resize the width of something, this is the next step to do, because as you can see with this, we just dropped images. We weren't able to make something that was maybe 5,700 pixels wide, which is way too big. We're not able to do that with tinyjpeg, but we were with the Mac solution. So this is the solution if you've got a PC. What you want to do is you want to click on the bulk resize selector here, rather than the individual resizer. And you want to click on select image. And I'm going to use the images that we had before we did it in the Mac resize. And I'm going to select the same 7 images, and you'll see at the bottom here that they're 5,000 pixels wide and we want them to be 2,500. So I'm going to open all of those. Okay, now what we're going to want to do is we're going to do 2,500 here, and then we're going to leave the end to height, make sure the lock ratio's there, and then it's got a target file size. So this actually does it 2-in-1 here, where we can make them a particular size. So I want these to be 450 kilobytes, and then save image file as original, which is perfect. And then we're going to click export. Then we click download all images. And what we can do here is we can go to get info, and we'll see that that's 2,500 and 448. If you wanted those to be smaller, you could make the kilobyte size smaller. So that's that method. And then finally, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up Lightroom Classic for our fourth and final imagery upload and resize. So this is part of the Adobe suite. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to import here, and then I'm going to go to the folder that I want. So you find the folder and it's in the not selected. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to upload the same 7. I'm going to select those there, and then I'm going to click import here. So actually what I think it's done is it's uploaded all of them, because I think it does in Lightroom, just uploads everything in the folder. So if you only want to be uploading maybe 7 like I did, create a new folder with those 7 in. I'm now going to click export. I'm going to see if I just select 7 if it will do that. So let's go to export. Then what we want to do is export to, I always quite like to just have it go to the desktop. Then I will rename this. So let's say my client is called Lee Griffith, leadership coach. So this particular one doesn't have to have hyphens between it, but I'm just going to do that anyway. And then we're going to scroll down and it says custom name because there's a drop down. That's what I want. So then I'm going to rename this, and always when you're renaming something, you want it to have a hyphen in between it. And then we're just going to scroll down here. We're going to make sure the limit size is 490. I might put 450 there. And then we want the width to be 2500. And then we click export, continue. Okay, so you'll see that the folder is now on my desktop, and we're just going to right click on that first image and get info, and you'll see that it's done it to 372 kilobytes and its dimensions are 2500. Okay, I hope this has been helpful. Let me know in the comments below, in the blog or on the YouTube video if this has been helpful. Thanks, bye.